Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Vimṛśya class from Canto 2, Chapter 9, and this morning we're doing Text 7. We're fortunate to have Her Grace Anandarupa Mataji from ISKCON Dasi, Potomac to be at DC to give a class. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please unmute yourself, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru and Gauranga. Thank you, Prabhuji, for this opportunity.
Hare
I'm
Krishna.
grateful. And so, should we start now?
Yes. You don't have to ask me next time. Just when I announce you, it means you can start.
Okay.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. So, we are at Canto 2, Chapter 9, verse number 7. As is the format, we will start with Guru Pranati. We will recite the Srimad Bhagavatam invocation prayers. And then we will read from the verse, the Sanskrit, and the translation and purport. And then I will share from Srila Prabhupada's purport, Vaishnav commentary, some examples and practical applications from this verse. Because today's verse has a very beautiful and wonderful insight for all of us, like all verses do, how we can improve in our sadhana, in our mindset to make spiritual advancement. So let's offer prayers. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiryet. Shravtam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantasto Hya Bhadrani Vidhunoti Suhratsatam Nashtaprayeshu abhatreshu nityam bhagvat sevaya bhagvatir uttam shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtiki. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tadham vande shri gurum dinataranam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So this verse today, SB 297. Niśamya tad-vaktṛ-didṛkṣayā diśo vilokya tatrānyad apaśyamānaḥ. Svadhiṣṇyam āsthāya vimṛśya tad-dhitaṁ tapasy upādiṣṭa ivādadhe manaḥ. Hare Krishna. I will recite only once today. If anyone else likes to recite the verse, please go ahead.
Niśamya tad-vaktṛ-didṛkṣayā diśo vilokya tatrānyad apaśyamānaḥ svadhiṣṇyam āsthāya vimṛśya tad-dhitaṁ tapasy upādiṣṭa ivādadhe manaḥ. Hare Krishna.
niśamya tad-vaktṛ-didṛkṣayā diśo vilokya tatrānyad upāśyamānaḥ svadhiṣṇyam āsthāya vimṛśya tad-dhitaṁ tapasy upādiṣṭa ivādadhe manaḥ. Hare Krishna.
niśamya tad-vaktṛ-didṛkṣayā diśo vilokya tatrānyad apaśyamānaḥ svadhiṣṇyam āsthāya vimṛśya tad-dhitaṁ tapasy upādiṣṭa ivādadhe manaḥ. Hare Krishna.
All right. So we will read the translation. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When he heard the sound, he tried to find the speaker, searching on all sides. But when he was unable to find anyone besides himself, he thought it wise to sit down on his lotus seat firmly and give his attention to the execution of the penance as he was instructed. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utpadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamsya. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishbhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we'll read the translation now. Okay. We are done with translation. This is purport. So who is he here? He is Lord Brahma. So I will give a quick recap once we read through the purport. And for those who are joining after a long time or don't have a background, I will give a very short recap so we can relate to the wisdom in the Srimad Bhagavatam verse today. So to achieve success in life, one should follow the example of Lord Brahma, the first living creature in the beginning of creation. After being initiated by the Supreme Lord to execute tapasya, he was fixed in his determination to do it, and although he could not find anyone beside himself, he could rightly understand that the sound was transmitted by Lord himself. Brahma was the only living entity, only living being at that time, because there was no other creation and none could be found there except himself. In the beginning of first canto, in the first chapter, first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, it has already been mentioned that Brahma was initiated by the Lord from within. The Lord is within every living entity as the super soul, and he initiated Brahma because Brahma was willing to receive the initiation. The Lord can similarly initiate anyone who is inclined to have it. As already stated, Brahma is the original spiritual master for the universe, and since he was initiated by Lord himself, the message of Srimad Bhagavatam is coming down by disciplic succession. And in order to receive the real message of Srimad Bhagavatam, one should approach the current link or spiritual master in the chain of disciplic succession. And after initiated by proper spiritual master in that chain of succession, one should engage himself in the discharge of tapasya in execution of devotional service. One should not, however, think himself on the level of Brahma to be initiated directly by the Lord from inside, because in the present age, no one can be accepted to be as pure as Brahma. The post of Brahma to officiate in the creation of universe is offered to the most pure living being, and unless one is so qualified, one cannot expect to be treated like Brahmaji directly. But one can have same facility through unalloyed devotee of the Lord, through scriptural instructions as revealed in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam especially, and also through the bona fide spiritual master available to the sincere soul. The Lord himself appears as the spiritual master to a person who is sincere in the heart about serving the Lord. Therefore, the bona fide spiritual master who happens to meet the sincere devotee should be accepted as the most confidential and beloved representative of the Lord. If a person is posted under the guidance of such a bona fide spiritual master, it may be accepted without any doubt that the desiring person has achieved the grace of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Such a beautiful purport. So, all right, let's come back to the translation. Thank you everyone for joining us today for this Srimad Bhagavatam talk. For those of you who are joining first time, we welcome you all. And I am grateful to ISKCON Harrisburg for this opportunity. It is by Vaishnav Kripa, by Guru Mercy, by Supreme Lord's mercy that we are having this opportunity for Shravan and Kirtan from Srimad Bhagavatam, coming in the line from Srila Prabhupada and the glorious disciplic succession. This conversation, this is a conversation we are reading between Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj is cursed to die in 7 days, and he has approached Shukdev Goswami with sincere intentions, and he has presented his enquiries. So, beginning from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1, we have been reading the background, how there are conversations nested, how this entire knowledge presented in Srimad Bhagavatam is coming down in parampara. This is bona fide, this is genuine, in disciplic succession, from Krishna to Brahmaji, from Brahmaji to Narad, Narad to Vyasdev. And like that, now there are conversations also nested. So, Maitre, conversation between Maitre and Vidur. There is a conversation between them going on where all this is being discussed. But then there is conversation referred here, which is most popularly known, and sometimes people cannot retain or remember all the different conversations. So at a high level, it is good to remember that Parikshit Maharaj is making arrangement to depart from the world. Instead of fighting back with destiny, with the curse he has received, he is doing what he's supposed to do. And he has presented several questions which we read in past chapter. And now in this chapter, Shukdev Goswami is responding to his questions. Okay. So now this is verse number 7. Now, what has happened between from verse number 1 to 6, and actually throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukdev Goswami is responding to the questions. Okay, questions by Parikshit Maharaj. So now here, before even we start to relate what is going on with Brahmaji here and why he is clueless and what sound did he hear. So very quickly, I want to bring everyone in the sense, those who are joining just today, that in the past chapter, Parikshit Maharaj asked questions about living entity. Why living entity is suffering? And there were many other questions. How living entity enters the material world or gets under the influence of material energy. How living entity falls down. And many other questions about Lord's constitutional glory, opulences, and all that. And very beautifully, Shukdev Goswami is explaining in this chapter, in the past verses 1 to 6, he's saying that, O king, unless one is influenced by energy of Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no meaning to relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body, And he also describes, just like someone sees a dream, that relationship is like that. It's not real. Someone sees in a dream a tiger is approaching and they're sweating, trying to escape the tiger. As soon as they open the eyes, there is no sweat, there is no tiger. So all that is beautifully explained in the purports by Srila Prabhupada. So one can relate to it and understand that originally living entity is eternal and in constitutional service of the Lord. However, because they get influenced by material energy, which is illusory, it causes illusions. Astrologically speaking, some of us who like to check out astrology forecasts, though that's not necessary. Once one takes shelter of Supreme Lord, it's not necessary. It's not at all actually recommended to be influenced by working of the planetary effects. However, even some devotees, they practice as astrologers because they are trying to help the neophytes or the struggling living entities, what's happening with them, how to cleanse their karmas, how to purify by taking shelter of Lord. So one of the planets, Rahu, causes illusion. He is responsible to keep the living entity. If they are not balanced, if Rahu is not balanced properly, if it's balanced, it can tremendously even help a living entity progress on spiritual path. But that doesn't mean one should go and take shelter of Rahu, similarly go and take shelter of demigods, because it's said that they can help one advance spiritually. It's not recommended to approach them indirectly. We should approach Krishna always with all our desires, with all the help we can simply place our prayer. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Kindly engage me in your loving devotional service. So now, coming to the point of what's happening with Brahmaji. So Brahmaji, as is nicely explained in this chapter, he is the first living entity, and Brahma's position is a very exalted, topmost position, not easily available to any living entity unless they have performed great austerities, they have great merits. And so to begin with, the illusion living entity, because they are influenced by material energy, they get one out of many different 8.3 million species offered by external energy of the Lord. And then, as Prabhupada repeatedly explains, aham mameti, this living entity enjoys in different material modes, engaged by living misconceptions, thinking in terms of I, me, mine, which is commonly referred to as misidentification at the bodily level. So, we read about this philosophy, yet for a very, very long time, as one keeps struggling, putting in sincere efforts, serving, going through purification, it takes a while to rise from or transcend from these inferior modes of nature where one is misidentifying at the bodily level. So now when Shukdev Goswami is answering to Parikshit Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj had initially asked, why is living entity suffering? Why is he misidentifying at the bodily level? So then Shukdev Goswami says, as soon as living entity becomes situated in his constitutional glory, he at once gives up the two misconceptions of life, which are I and mine, and becomes fully manifested as pure self. And in this way, he keeps answering different questions of Parikshit Maharaj. So finally, he says that the Supreme Lord, being very much pleased with Lord Brahma, because of, as we will see, Brahmaji, what he hears and what does he start doing, So he is pleased with Brahmaji's sincere penances in Bhakti Yoga. So Supreme Lord presents his eternal and transcendental form before Brahma, and that is the objective goal for purifying the conditioned soul. So now, as we have some background that, when Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he enters the universe, out of his sweat, there is an ocean called Garbhodak Ocean, and Garbhodakshaya Vishnu lies down on it, and from his navel sprouts a lotus stem, and on the lotus is birth of Brahmaji. So Lord Brahma is mentioned as the first spiritual master, supreme in the universe, but yet, his appearance like that, initially the very first living entity, he's clueless. He cannot trace what is this lotus? What is the source of this lotus seed? And then he has the responsibility of thinking of creating the material world. So he cannot understand the proper direction of such a creative work, nor could he find the process for such creation. So in this way, when he's meditating on such thoughts in that Garbhodak ocean, in the lotus, Brahmaji hears two syllables joined together. This is mentioned in verse number 6. We are doing 7 today. And one of the syllables, Prabhupada says, is taken from 16th and other from 21st of the Sparsh alphabets, and both joined together to become the wealth of renounced order of life. And in purport, he has explained the word was tapa, like that. So he hears that sound we are reading today, and he tries to find the speaker, searching on all sides. He's clueless. What is this? What am I supposed to do? But then he realizes he's unable to find anyone beside himself. So then, understanding the purport of this message, tapa, he wisely sits down on the lotus seat and gives the attention to execute the penance as he was instructed. Now, in purport, a lot of additional information is there which helps us understand this verse better. But let us think about, have we noticed that the turning points in our life, they do not come from comfort, luxury, easy choices, but it is in those moments where we are unsure. And then we go through some kind of penance or struggle, sacrifice, and come to some deep reflection. So think about that, because kind of Brahmaji's situation we can understand similar to this. Brahmaji is the first living being. He was alone in the cosmos, yet he heard a simple instruction. He received an instruction, just like senior devotees, our mentors, our spiritual master, they give us instruction. Here, we have to understand Brahmaji, he receives instructions, tapa. So with nothing else, he accepted it with attention and became the empowered creator of the universe, as we are going to see. Okay, who is the primary creator? Please raise your hand. Anybody knows who is the primary creator and who is the secondary creator? Since creation talk will eventually come, but at this point, I want to know if anybody can comment on that. If not, we will not spend too much time anyway on that. Yes, Raksha. Please go ahead.
The primary creator is the Lord Krishna, and secondary creator is the
I'm sorry, speak loudly, please.
primary creator is the Lord Krishna, and secondary creator is the Brahman.
Yes. So as we see, Parmaji is going to perform tapasya, and then he will understand better what is his role and responsibility, which will be eventually identified secondary creation. And then in this way, right now, I thought it was worth mentioning. So now another thing to reflect on is, if Brahmaji, surrounded by emptiness, could embrace tapasya, and as we will see, of course, he achieved perfection, then what is the hope for us? We have temples, we have all kind of resources actually. We have Srimad Bhagavatam, we have Sadhu, Guru, Shastra, and we have Prasadam to purify our consciousness. So we have all kind of resources and help available. So as I was preparing for this class, I thought of an acronym, ACE, ACE. Based on this purport, how this purport is going to help us in our sadhana, in our advancement. So this ACE acronym, ACE, AI could come up as ACE for attention, because Brahmaji attentively searched for the source of instruction. Okay. So message for us is, we should hear Krishna's voice through Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Then only we can come to understand and apply how to be attentive. With attentiveness, we can search how to perform service, how to perform penance. And with that, going through resources and taking their help, we can better our practices, spiritual practices. ACE, A, attention, C for conviction. So Brahma had conviction. He believed tapasya is the true wealth. So similarly, we can develop firm faith that austerity is our treasure. Now, when we read Nectar of Instruction, Srila Rupa Goswami has given us really profound and beautiful tips there. Instructions, again, coming. How we can improve, how we can make spiritual advancement, and things to avoid which are impediments. And in this way, we develop firm faith. And then, so with attention, conviction then comes the execution part. So knowledge comes, of course, all along. And then just like, we have Sambandha Gyan, Abhideya and Prayojan. So Abhideya part is execution of devotional service. So similarly here, A is E. Brahmaji executed, he firmly sat and performed tapasya. He carried out devotion with determination. And this is the lesson for us. So we get with inquisitiveness, we present our inquiries, we seek resources, we offer prayers with a prayerful heart. We present our plea and we engage in devotional service with firm faith, which is the austerity, right? It is the recommended sacrifice for this Kali age. And then with devotion, we carry out with eagerness and determination, we carry out the devotional service, which is referred to Bhakti Yoga in this purport. So, Srila Prabhupada, in his lectures, he often mentioned so many, he quoted so many wonderful phrases which really help us. He would say, tapasya is the beginning of human life. Without tapasya, one remains on the level of animals. And then tapa means austerity. Austerity is voluntarily accepting inconvenience for spiritual progress. Now, what does Bhagavad Gita say about austerity, penances, and sacrifice? Who remembers? Does anyone remember here? Chapter 17, 18 of Bhagavad Gita, it has a very beautiful verse on. I don't want you to quote the verse, just the message, if you remember. What is mentioned? Krishna says to Arjuna something about austerity, penances, and sacrifice. Anyone remembers? So Krishna says to Arjuna, austerity, penances, and sacrifices should be performed by everyone because they purify. Even the great souls, they even do it. So it should not be given up. And here we are reading in this particular verse, Brahmaji, he heard the okay, and then he engaged in the austerity. He meditated. He looked everywhere. He found no one, and sound came from Lord himself. From where? From within. So Brahmaji sat firmly on his lotus seat. And how long did he meditate? He meditated for 1,000 celestial years. So this tapasya attracted the mercy of the Lord, who revealed transcendental knowledge and guidance. So what is the message for us here? That even when we are alone, if we meditate, if we pay attention, and with sincerity, if we execute the instruction, then that unlocks a lot of possibilities. Actually, we should consider infinite possibilities. We should have firm faith. So now we are ready to explore more on ACE acronym, A for attention. So the recommendation is we should hear Lord's instruction through sadhu, guru, and shastra, just as Brahmaji did when he focused on the instruction or command, tapa. Now, while we are on this subject, let us talk about few other quick references by Srila Prabhupada. A sincere devotee hears the words of Lord and Guru as if his life depends on it, because it does. So if any one of you want any references from these sections, these lines I am sharing, I have it all from different lectures he has referenced. So now another one is, even if Lord himself speaks, inattentive ears will hear nothing. That is why attention is worship. So under the effect of illusory energy of the Lord, there is a tendency, Harinam Chintamani talks at great length, how, when we chant the holy names, the different challenges we face regarding inattentiveness, indifference, laziness, so many other factors. So how to transcend those, or how to improve that, requires eagerness and attentiveness. So hearing attentively is the first step in human life. Without it, knowledge cannot grow. So one must hear carefully. Special instructions are like jewels. If missed once, they are hard to regain. So many of us, actually everyone might have experienced this, that when we are listening to Srimad Bhagavatam at times, we are tested by Maya. We sometimes, it feels like we fell asleep, or, short breaks are there. And why is that? That's because of course, due to lack of rest can be one of the reasons, but inattentiveness. Basically, inattentiveness has a lot of root causes. It may have to do with our health, due to lack of rest, due to current situation in life, so many things. So now I have some quotes by different Swamis I put together here just as a reference. Bhakti Swami, again, there are many quotes being circulated. I just pick a few. One of them was, hearing with attention is the key to unlocking bhakti. Distraction makes one deaf to the Lord. Every instruction from Guru is a direct message from Krishna. Pay attention as Brahma did. And then by His Holiness Radhanath Swami, when you listen with your heart, not just your ears, every instruction becomes transformative. This is so deep, right? The 9 process of devotional service, we start when we recite or hear, it begins with Shravanam, hearing, right? Hearing is not just hearing, it's hearing with attentiveness and eagerness. And as we go through Srimad Bhagavatam, we learn that how Parikshit Maharaj performed the Shravanam. That is the lesson for us, how we can improve our spiritual practices, how we can bring the change in heart, how we can go through this transformation by listening attentively. So attention is the bridge between knowledge and realization, and without it, hearing is empty. My Guru Maharaj would say that Brahma's searching shows that one should never be passive. One must seek Lord's message actively. So now, did you pay attention? I have been speaking so much about attentive hearing. But actually, how does that happen? So true hearing is not merely sound, it is internal reception of wisdom. So not to just show presence, not to look good, not to just please someone around, simply for the pleasure of the Lord, with that mood, simply for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. If one even engages in hearing, listening attentively. Nowadays, there are so many life coaches, they give such wonderful talks. You see those one shot, several shots appear. And many of them talk about active listening, emphatic listening. What's the difference, how to improve, what to do, what not to do. It's so important. Listening is very important. So attention is devotion's first step, and without listening, no service can flourish. I'm quoting by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami. Even if one is alone, like Brahma, focused attention brings Lord's guidance. So we have some nice examples actually from our scriptures. From Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a nice exchange between Srila Raghunath Das Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he heard Mahaprabhu's words only once. What did Mahaprabhu say to him? Go home and do your duty. Soon Krishna will deliver you. And what did he do? He internalized it fully and never questioned. And later, that single instruction guided his entire life of renunciation and devotional writing. Similarly, we read Vyas Puja offerings or memoirs by several Srila Prabhupada's disciples. How are they able to share all that, their experiences and exchanges with Srila Prabhupada? Because they listened attentively. And so, even a single instruction heard attentively can transform life. So, on a lighter note, once a disciple asked, Guruji, I want to hear Krishna, but my mind wanders. So his guru says, do you hear the words? Disciple says, yes, chirping all day. So the guru says, then why not Krishna? Your ears are free, your mind is busy. So then disciple says, I must close my mind to open my ears. So message for us is attention requires mental focus. Otherwise, even divine instructions are missed. So once a student asked, Guruji, how can I meditate with so many notifications? As you see nowadays, almost everyone is having a phone all the time, right? Checking once they see notification or not. So now when a student asks this, Guru says, do you reply to all your texts? Student says, yes. Then Guru says, then you can hear the Lord too, just switch the notifications to him. So for current time students, it's tapasya through digital discipline. So distractions are everywhere. Training attention converts ordinary tasks into spiritual focus. Earlier, I was referring to astrology. So many times people come to astrologers with this serious concern that they are very distracted. They are not focused. In spite of having such talents and opportunities, they are not able to, they have other fruitive desires they will express. How can they, get successful? And then they are given solutions that pacify so and so planet, and that will be helpful. But eventually, what does it come down to from Krishna conscious perspective? Eventually, it comes down to that being in touch with Maya. Distractions are everywhere. So with determination, with faith, and with eagerness, we can convert ordinary tasks to spiritual focus. Just like Nectar of Devotion explains, we have to spiritualize everything. Yukta Vairagya, right? So not only that becomes something to please Krishna, that activity or that offering becomes devotional service, but it is also then performed with attentiveness and eagerness. And because there is an element of an affection. So that totally makes it perfect. Listening scriptures. Don't do anything else, just silently listen. And we have a lot of resources online through YouTube, through apps and all that. We should also read a verse aloud, then reflect on it without distraction. And like this, Srimad Bhagavatam class or attending a kirtan, fully avoiding mental wandering. So there may be temptations to check phone in parallel or do something else. If one is really wanting to improve their attention span, what I have seen is, especially on Zoom calls, if we keep our camera video open, that helps us in improving in tendency to multitask and become distracted. So in this way, we can also use reminders or sticky notes to maintain spiritual focus. And in this way, we can practice active listening while having exchanges with devotees or wherever we are, even if we are not in temple or around devotees, even at work environment, or basically we can improve our listening skills. Now, something we can meditate on or reflect on as we are going through this verse in this class, and we have a few more minutes. We can think of, when did I last fully hear a spiritual message? Then think of what distracts me most from divine instructions. In professional work environment, when many years back when I was going for work, so the kind of framework, the guidelines we were following, every day we were having stand-up meetings, just 5-minute meeting, beginning of the day. And that immediately required us to attentively listen to what others are saying, what I have to say, and also make quick notes about it. So similarly, even in our spiritual life, we should think of what things went well for me, what were my challenges, and what do I plan to do to work on it. So now we can think of, when did I last hear a spiritual message? What were my distractions? How can I emulate Brahma's diligence in seeking spiritual knowledge? What am I reading which resonates most when I listen fully? How do I feel when I focus completely on spiritual practice? These are some of the prompts to improve the attentiveness. Now we have been talking in the acronym ACE, A, attentiveness. Now next move to C, conviction. Let us see how Brahma believed in tapasya as the true wealth of the soul, and how this conviction can guide our own spiritual life, our spiritual journey. So this verse translation says, when he heard the sound, he tried to find the speaker, searching on all sides. But when he was unable to find anyone beside himself, he thought it wise to sit down on his lotus seat firmly and give his attention to the execution of penance as he was instructed. So Brahma, he accepted the instruction as true without seeing a speaker. His conviction in tapasya, I made some notes for today. I'll quickly share. Tapa or austerity is the essence of human life. Without conviction, hearing alone is useless. Then conviction makes knowledge effective. Doubt kills the spiritual advancement. At the same time, since this one talks about doubt, I quickly want to mention, in case anyone is having those of you who are very new to reading scriptures, we will see it's repeatedly mentioned one should clarify doubts. It is good. One should ask questions. And here it says, conviction makes knowledge effective. Doubt kills spiritual advancement. So how do you explain that? Anybody wants to comment? Hare Krishna, very quick comment. Anyone wants? Please raise your hand. So Prabhupada says, conviction makes knowledge effective. Doubts kill spiritual advancement. At the same time, we should clarify our doubts. So this is very simple, actually. We don't have to think much about it. It's when we will clear our doubts, then we will move forward. We'll be able to get past it, right? So now Brahma accepted Lord's instruction without hesitation, and faith is the root of all success in spiritual life. So if we want to develop strong, firm faith, unshakable faith, we hear of devotees having this unwavering, unshakable faith. And if we want to be someday in that stage, we have to come to the stage to accept Guru and Krishna's instruction without hesitation, without making excuses, without getting distracted. So when the heart is fixed on spiritual truth, the mind automatically performs austerity. Prabhupada says, when the heart is fixed on spiritual truth, the mind automatically performs austerity. So what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Fix your mind on me. Always pay obeisances to me. Worship me. And I will take care of you. Do not fear. So that is the way. That is the way to execute devotional service, and that is the way to overcome the impediments, any kind of distractions we talked about, and to develop attentiveness and conviction, which is the second alphabet in the acronym ACE we are talking about. So Bhakti Tirth Swami's 2 quotes I have. Conviction in divine instruction transforms ordinary austerity into transcendental tapasya. And a doubtless mind is a powerhouse. A wavering mind achieves nothing. Okay. I have a couple others by other sannyasis too, but I will now. I want to really quickly go through the material I have here for today's class. So we all know about Dhruv Maharaj, famous pastime, right? He performed tapasya with determination, right? He was young prince, young boy. He faced rejection from his father and insult from his stepmother. But despite his hardship, he performed tapasya in the forest. So what did he do? Was he daily being supplied with royal food and sumptuous feast? No. He was living on leaves, then air, then nothing but devotion to the Lord. And his unwavering conviction touched Supreme Lord's heart. It moved the Supreme Lord to appear before him, showing that faith transforms austerity. It transformed austerity with divine reward. Lord gave darshan to him and touched conch on his forehead and blessed him. So in this way, I mean, I didn't intend to cover the entire pastime, just I want to give an example about Dhruv Maharaj's tapasya, austerity. So a devotee once says, I want to meditate, but I doubt if it works. So Guru says, do you doubt that sun will rise tomorrow? A devotee says, no. Then Guru says, why doubt tapasya? So conviction is like sunrise, inevitable if you persist. So message for us is faith converts effort into spiritual success. And there is another one. A student said, I'm unsure if austerity is useful. Guru says, do you question the power of fire? Student says, no, it burns automatically. So Guru says, similarly, conviction ignites tapasya. So this true faith, it ensures, the conviction ensures austerity bears fruit automatically. All right. So now some reflection prompts are, which area of our spiritual life lacks full conviction? When did I doubt Krishna's instructions, Guru's instructions, senior devotees' instructions, and what was the result? How can I cultivate unwavering faith like Brahma? Which scripture story inspires me to believe, despite difficulties? Which scripture story inspires me to believe, carrying on despite the difficulties? We just took the example of Dhruv Maharaj. We similarly have many other examples, right? So how do I feel physically and emotionally when I act with conviction? Okay, so there is a lot of help nowadays, a lot of resources for self-love, self-care, better mental health, and a lot of things. If one should reflect deeply, we will see if we carry out the instructions with eagerness, attentiveness, conviction, automatically everything is taken care of actually. Just little things, adjustments around it, and it is the way we execute devotional service, then it gives a wonderful, beautiful insight how to apply this acronym in our life. So hearing alone may be insufficient, but faith transforms austerity into spiritual wealth. Now let's come to the last part, execution, where attention and conviction, they manifest as determined action. Like we have Brahma's example, he's sitting firmly on his lotus seat to perform tapasya. Finally, he's executing the instruction, tapa. So now, in the translation we read, when he heard the sound, he tried to find speaker. He searched in all directions, but finding no one, did it say he seated himself on the lotus seat? No, it says he firmly seated himself on his lotus seat, and then he focused on performing the penance as instructed. So execution turns attention and conviction into transformation. We hear about, speaking from realization and transformation through engagement in devotional service. So Brahma's determination in practicing tapasya demonstrates that spiritual perfection requires firm action, not just hearing and believing. So we keep chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It says, O Supreme Lord, O Mother Radhe, please give me an opportunity. Kindly accept my loving service. Give me an opportunity to serve you. You keep chanting 1 month, 1 year, year after year, decades after decades. Opportunities come, but what do? You accept the service You go through practical service, you get realizations with firm determination, with eagerness, and your faith goes stronger. And this E, A-C-E, E was engagement in service, execution. So this brings the transformation in heart. So Brahma's determination in practicing tapasya demonstrates that spiritual perfection requires firm action, not just hearing and believing. Now, we must understand that kirtan or chanting is a service in itself, but Prabhupada nicely has identified in many lectures that some practical devotional service should also be done in parallel to chanting the holy names. And when we get that opportunity, we should do it. When we get an opportunity to serve, we should not do it for a formality. We should do it with our heart and soul for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. What does that mean? What that means is to not make an excuse at the first opportunity to delegate to others. What it means is to take that service on ourselves and execute it to completion in the way it is expected. So there is a whole art of execution of devotional service, and this class I'm just mentioning at a high level. So now Prabhupada says, hearing and faith are incomplete without execution. One must act like Brahma to realize the goal, which is exactly what I have been trying to say for past 5 minutes. Now, action with determination converts spiritual knowledge into realization. So in case sometimes we have wondered that how to deepen my realizations. So this is the way. Action, engagement in devotional service with determination. It brings that spiritual knowledge into realization. And then devotion requires doing. What does, okay, let me complete this. Devotion requires doing, chanting, service, austerity consistently without distraction. So now let us say we are having these festivals, right? We all get together. We had Janmashtami, we have Radhashtami, and so several festivals, right? We all get together, Rath Yatras. Are we experiencing distractions and all kind of challenges there? Though it is in our best interest to do it attentively, eagerly, for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. Yes, it may seem that there are distractions and impediments coming, but actually it has been explained nicely again by acharyas that there are no impediments to devotional service. So what may seem like distractions are very temporary and they will fly away. We should be consistent. With single pointed attention, we should engage. Okay, so now Brahmaji's example teaches us to sit firmly and act even if unseen or alone. I know so many speakers give Srimad Bhagavatam class and they have their channels on YouTube. They just give the class. There is no audience. And they give wonderful. I've watched some of them. So my Guru Maharaj would say, execution transforms hearing and faith into spiritual strength, and only by action does tapasya manifest in full power. Mere theory is insufficient. So that is why something really important I want to share with you all, and you already may have this from your realizations at different level. We don't have to separately go to some setting to engage in devotional service. We can just transform, or we can spiritualize all our activities, because see, we as a social living being, we want to be engaged in something. So when we read from scriptures that as much possible we should engage in devotional service, and then for a time there is a huge confusion, how do I balance my material life and spiritual life? Well, you don't have to just spiritualize your material life. And how do you do that? that is a separate class. But just know for now that that is the principle of Yukta Vairagya I mentioned earlier. Do everything for satisfaction of the Lord. And in this way, we can follow the principle of execution from Srimad Bhagavatam, execution in transcendental devotional service. In whatever we do, it's the mind, it's the mindset, it's the consciousness, who you are doing it for, who are the fruits being offered to. So Jai Pataka Swami, His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami says, firm, unwavering execution is hallmark of a successful devotee. Even when alone, consistent action brings Lord's guidance and mercy. All right, we all know we have heard of Prahlad Maharaj. Despite his father's tortures, he executed devotion daily. He was chanting, meditating, serving the Lord. He did not just hear or believe theoretically. He practiced bhakti practically and relentlessly. And his execution of devotion attracted who? Who did he attract? Anyone? Please raise your hand. Who did Prahlad Maharaj attract? Okay, while you're thinking of that, and please don't hesitate to raise your hand. I'm just trying to make it more interactive so nobody dozes off. And I'm seeing Anasuya Devi Mataji's message just now. Dhritarashtra had a lot of doubts and was not convinced, which is why he was stuck. Exactly. We don't even have to go to Dhritarashtra level. We can see from our own lives, right? So, Neeru Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Prahlad attracted Lord Vishnu Mataji.
Yes, and finally he appeared as Lord Nrsimhadev. Lord Nrsimhadev appeared and protected him, proving that firm action transforms faith into real experience. So we are talking about acronym ACE. Who remembers what does each of the letters stand for? Hare Krishna. Anyone wants to comment? Other than Neeru Mataji, she just commented. Yes, Raksha Mataji, go ahead. What does A stand for?
A is attention, and C is conviction, and D is determination.
The last one is actually ACE is for execution with
Execution, sorry.
with determination. So
Yeah.
you were partly correct, actually, just missed out. So a common scenario we all go through is we read so much, we appreciate so much from scriptures. It really touches our heart. But then what happens after the class? We can't retain it. Often we forget. We remember some of it. But if someone asks, what do you remember from the class? And then we'll be struggling. So one disciple said, I read scriptures, but I forget them immediately. So Guru said, do you forget brushing your teeth? Disciple says, no. Guru says, then brush your heart daily with tapasya too. So message for us is consistent execution makes practice habitual and effective. What does Bhagavad Gita say about devotional service? Practice and detachment. With practice and detachment, one can perfect the life. That was a very beautiful message too. Bhagavad Gita has so many beautiful messages, right? And then someone gave an excuse. I'm too tired for kirtan today. So the Guru asked, was your work tiring? So the disciple says, yes, very. So the Guru says, then turn fatigue into devotion. Execution is strengthened by perseverance. So the famous verse in Bhagavad Gita, Raj Vidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam. So this knowledge, the transcendental knowledge, is the king of knowledge, and basically this is devotional service, hearing and listening to it. But it is joyfully performed. It is pure and joyfully performed. So if someone complains, exhausted, getting burnt out, but soon that improves over time depending on how much attentiveness, sincerity, conviction with which we are involved, we are putting into the engagement. So these actions in devotional service, even in difficulty, they build spiritual stamina. Why are we talking about actions and stamina and all? Because we are talking about execution part. The ACE acronym, we are talking about execution. So now, then many devotees like to serve only when it's convenient. As soon as it's inconvenient, they may not, it's just going through different stages, as one purifies and becomes better in their spiritual practices. So a devotee says, I serve only when convenient. So similarly, his guru says, do you eat only when hungry? He says, no. So the instruction is, then serve like God is eating regularly without waiting for convenience. This is an excellent message for those who have started offering bhoga for home deities. Initially there is ignorance, and so when someone starts practicing Krishna consciousness, making little offering, they will start with a glass of water, and because Bhagavad Gita says, so I'll put a tulsi leaf, that's it. And then they hear the constant instruction and reminder from their mentors that if you relish so much opulently, so much food, why not the Supreme Lord who is providing you with everything? So one starts gradually with some fruits, dry fruits, little bit, and then they hear more, and then they will improve it further little bit. Okay, make it maybe one chapati dal and again water tulsi. And so it's a gradual cycle based on convenience they're doing. Sometimes they go out and have dinner outside with friends, family, so they did not do any offering. But then they learn over time that firm execution requires consistency, not convenience. Supreme Lord also waits, right? So I hope everybody got the message. So we can fix specific time daily for our spiritual practices like chanting, study, meditation, making offerings to the Lord. No excuses. And often many of us have the great fortune that we can prepare a sacred space to do this, different activities. Then we can have a checklist for spiritual duties. Now, these are some of the practical tips where people say that, devotees say that, I'm struggling with the execution. I read, I understand, I believe in it, I want to do it, but somehow I can't execute it. So these tips help them. So have a checklist for spiritual duties to ensure completion. Start with small acts of devotion and gradually increase the intensity, and then always perform service even when no one is watching. Why? Because Krishna sees all. How does Krishna see all when even he is not watching? How do we understand? From where is Krishna seeing? Please raise your hand. Any comments? We don't see Krishna seeing us. How do we understand that? How should we perform with integrity and consistency? How should we execute in a way to please the Lord? Yes, Sunita Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Mataji, Krishna is living our heart.
Very good. So as Paramatma, as super soul within our heart, from within, he is there, he is watching as a silent overseer, permitter. Yes, Monica Mataji, you have commented. Hare Krishna. As Paramatma. And it's elsewhere, Srila Prabhupada has also explained, as the sun and the moon, they watch everything, all activities. And then further, for those who know, there are 33 million Devi Devtas, planetary, the grahas, personalities, they are all around us in different things, in different parts of body. They are watching, they are witnessing everything. So many witnesses are there. On top of it, if someone did not make it at the time of death, if Vishnu Dutas didn't come or they did not practice devotional service, if Yamdutas came, his secretary Chitragupta has whole account. He has the secret account of everything. So at all times, the camera, God's cameras are there, not just one. in different locations. So I'll quickly wrap up now. Okay. ACE acronym. We understood the verse better today with this acronym. ACE for attention. Hear Lord's attention, hear Lord's instructions through sadhu, guru, and shastra. With conviction, believe that tapasya or austerity, penance, is true wealth of the soul, and execution, engage in devotional service with firm conviction, sitting firmly like Brahma and carrying it out with determination. Okay, so conviction converts hearing into faith, and execution transforms faith into realization. So action is final and essential step. So in this way, ultimately, we can work on improving our sadhana, pleasing the devotees, Guru, and Supreme Lord through penances, tapasya. Devotional service is tapasya. So Brahma had nothing, no world, no people, no resources, yet with single-pointed attention, with unwavering conviction and determined execution, he became architect of the universe. And what is our position? We have so many resources, scriptures, association, temples, prasadam. The only question is, will we also be firm, like not really sitting in a place, but it's metaphorical. Will we also sit firmly on our lotus and embrace tapasya? Okay. So now, Hare Krishna, at this point, I would like to conclude this session, but we will have some comments and questions. Granth-raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavin ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Mataji. A very, very, very nice class. And then the acronyms also to help in our consciousness, the understanding that we should have. So thank you very much. Any final questions by the Buddhists? This is already interactive, therefore, you got a chance to talk. But if you have any other questions, please ask it now. Hare Krishna. If not, then I'd like to thank you, Mataji, very much for coming on this morning to give a very detailed historical background lectures from the beginning, people background and up to where we are. That's very, very nice. It makes people catch up to the way things were before we got to this particular verse. So that is very, very helpful. Thank you, Mataji, very much. Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripāsindhubhya padītānaṁ pāvanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.